you do in 30 minutes. You could be on one of our 45 black and white sand beaches, or perched atop a lush mountainside admiring our stunning coastline, or slicing the Caribbean Sea on a traditionally built sloop, or adventuring off the beaten path, or hanging out with our underwater sculptures, or do nothing at all. Whatever you choose, an amazing vacation is only 30 minutes away in Grenada. Visit www.puregrenada.com.
On Thursday, September 27th, Grenada's Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Keith Mitchell, and the Foreign Affairs Minister, Honorable Peter David, are coming to Brooklyn for a special town hall meeting. All Grenadians and friends of Grenada in the diaspora are invited. Join the discussion on the state of affairs in Grenada. It's from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the auditorium of the Medgar Evers College on 1650 Bedford Avenue. Come, let your voice be heard. Thursday, September 27th, Grenada's Prime Minister and Foreign Affairs Minister in a town hall meeting at Medgar Evers College from 5 p.m.
And spoon dustbin and oil drum. Look how far the steel band came from. Brother, to make a steel band song like an organ is a great achievement, so I throw it on the pavement. Barnyard horrors from landowners, why should there be any barriers? Uncle Spring, it ain't easy, I could tell you. Well, ask Rodney, ask Bertie, them could tell you. Well, let that be more than just a slogan. Give it your utmost attention. Or as Black Stalin said, we might wake up one day and hear that steel band come from in the United Kingdom. Sweden done start already, setting up a factory to manufacture we own culture. Uncle Spring, it ain't easy, I could tell you. Well, ask Bootsy, ask Bertie, them go tell you.
Good morning to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Pity Martinique. Once again, it is time for Hard Talk. That's a pan tune too, isn't it?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's considered a pan tune too.
Of course,
I
it's
mean,
a pan
not
tune.
necessarily a pan side, but it's a pan tune too.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And
Nice.
and the message, pan in danger.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Taking further part in that one.
Mm-hmm. I ain't know if it's in Grenada or in Trinidad, but
That discussion is not discussion above my pay grade.
hey,
Is it?
by the way, the Pan Association is meeting tomorrow in the annual general meeting.
As I say, that one is one above my
Yes,
pay grade.
and,
It had press conference in the news last
yes, all
night.
kind of thing. And
Accusations flying left,
yeah.
right, center, left, right,
Yeah.
inside, outside, up, above,
who,
down.
who want to push no confidence motion in executive and ting. Well, we go wait and see. Never a dull moment in Grenada. It's
Well,
beautiful Grenada.
What I can say is this. I can say that definitely that I ain't taking part.
At all.
That's what I could say. I ain't taking part.
I'm just repeating what I heard from the present president.
All I know, earlier
Yes,
this
sir.
week,
Yeah.
you heard certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah, you heard certain things about who was going and try certain things. Then last night on the news,
You hear
the people who was going and try the certain things about, kind of flip the switch on them.
turn the table, capsize the table.
Turn the table.
Capsize
Boy,
it.
the man kick out the four leg of the table and kick the top over.
So just a frame alone that day.
And after he do that, he still take lighter fluid and matches and burn the table, you know. That table do exist again,
Yeah,
so it
boy.
ain't no more coming back to the table, you know. He burn that.
Yeah. It's
So
a brand
anyhow.
new. It's a brand new table.
But what I will say though, it's sad to hear those sort of stories coming out, especially after what I believe would be one of the most successful panoramas for a very long time. And to see the interest that is now there in steel pan, especially. Controversy tends to breed a lot of interest in things. Yeah, if there's something controversial, it tends to cause a lot of people to become more interested in it. And I think that this has caused a lot of people to be more interested. Not the present thing that we heard about last night. And I'm not getting into details because me want to call nobody name.
Nope.
And next thing you hear Sheldon say, and I don't know nothing about that. I just hear, like everybody else in Grenada, I've heard the accusations. And I've heard FIU investigating and all these sort of things. Yeah, I've heard the accusations as everybody else. But I'm saying that that sort of thing comes at a time. Look, I think the steel bands received their subventions early this year.
Yep. Time.
Yeah. You had those wonderful performances by all of the bands taking part in the panorama competition. Yes, somebody had to win, somebody had to lose, but you had some wonderful performances.
And the level of preparation this
Yeah.
carnival was, I mean.
And all of that
Yeah.
interest, especially among young people and so on, in the association and so, to see that it's not yet clouded, but to see that there's this little, you're looking in the horizon and you're seeing that little dark cloud over the entire thing. I hope it does not negatively affect the steel band movement in Grenada, and I hope that everything turns out okay. I just hope that everything turns out okay. That's as much as we could say on that, Devon.
Because, I mean,
We can't say nothing else. We don't
at
know,
all.
so we can't say. I think they have their meeting tomorrow.
Yep.
They're going to discuss their business.
They could iron it out.
Yeah.
Because we have no idea what is going on in the association for the whole year. So what so hey, it's a mature organization with mature people and so on. They will ensure that PAN continues to grow.
Let's say a special good morning to each and every one of you on the live this morning. Hey, I'm seeing the other Devon, the Korean.
The Korean.
Yeah, he went and see if he could get to
So-
see he went to try and cross over into North Korea, but they hold him, couldn't get through. Yeah, that's where you went and do. You went and tried to crawl over into North Korea and couldn't get
He
through.
couldn't get you.
Nah, boy.
Kim Il-sung,
Yeah.
security tight like wax, boy.
It's Kim Il-sung, Kim Il-jung,
Kim Il-sung,
Kim Il-sung, Kim Il-sung.
Yeah,
Is his son.
Yeah, as a young fella.
Right. All of them does. The first name is the surname by them. So all of them is Kim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, he got a beautiful wife, man. I just had to see that. Yeah.
Boss, you have to be very careful what you're saying about the great leader here because these guys don't play.
From a distance, eh?
These guys don't play.
From a distance, they
Next thing, somebody go and say ting, 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 ting. Yeah.
But noticeable, he has been basically capturing the spotlight, around international circles now, based on his, sort of a little bit open up mood and so on. And that's good,
Good morning, Wade. Like Wade get taste. He asking for the guests on Hard Talk. No, Wade, there's no guests on Hard Talk today. We know the last 2 days have been very interesting and deep conversations in relation to specific issues. And we're hoping that we can have Dr. Fleming back with us either Monday or Wednesday next week. And that we can have him back for some serious... No, it can't be Wednesday. Yeah.
So it's either Monday or Thursday, perhaps.
Wednesday next week, we will be having a guest in to discuss the CCJ. I could tell you who she is now, but I'm going to hold it still.
Yes, we know.
Yeah, just in case scheduling change and thing, and then all you say, they can't come.
Oh, yes, and this and that, and you disappoint them because they want to see the lady and all kind of thing. So
yeah. But we didn't say good morning to the radio station, so we start in reverse this time.
Yes.
So we'll start with
94.9 We Vibes Radio in Brooklyn, New York.
92.9 Sister Isle FM, where the beautiful Lisa Marie works. Good morning to you, Lisa Marie.
Good morning,
that
Curtis.
You're having a fabulous day today.
Yes,
my dear. You can smile until your cheeks turn color.
Little Rena, good morning, my dear.
But that girl go give you one lash of bottle when you go in Carriacou.
97.5 City Sound in River Road, yeah.
Curtis' brother, we forgot to say Curtis' brother. Oh boy, his name Patrick.
Patrick, yes.
Yeah, Patrick.
Yeah,
morning.
Patrick. Good morning to you.
Morning. Yeah. And also, we have CRFM.
Yes.
You just call CRFM?
No, 97 I call it.
Right, CRFM 89.5. Mr. Roll Gaff.
Yes.
Good morning to you, sir. Campesh, the original DJ man himself, the music man.
Yep.
Yeah, man that knows music inside out. And I'm sure he started Christmas program already.
Oh yeah, he doesn't know.
Campesh is one of the only places you could hear a certain type of music. And I'll always say that he tends to play a lot of steel pan. Nearly every morning, steel pan. He plays that. And outside of steel pan, he also plays a lot of the very old school Christmas music. So as Christmas comes closer, you're going to start hearing it by him. He plays a lot of the old school Christmas music and that sort of thing. And then some of the ones that them reggae Christmas thing and them from the 1980s and so.
80s. He bad on that. He had them in a collection.
All I want for Christmas. I ain't going to sing your side. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I know what I want for Christmas.
Yeah, but them kind of thing he does. Yes. He does play. So he does get
and all that kind of.
Hey, this week though we neglected to say a very special happy birthday to our good friend GT Glenn Telesford out there at City Sound. How could we? But the day, that's the same day we had the CCJ thing.
Yeah,
so yes, Wade, you're correct. It's 3 days we had interviews instead of the two Rastamen talking in the studio. Yeah. So we had the CCJ on Wednesday, and I think that was his birthday. So we didn't get to say a happy birthday. Wednesday or Thursday?
No, the CCJ.
Wednesday. CCJ was
Thursday.
Tuesday. Yeah, the CCJ was Tuesday. Yeah, we didn't have postcap. Was the CCJ at the school?
And what we had yesterday?
Yesterday we had Ruggles Ferguson, CCJ again. And then on Wednesday we had Dr. Fleming.
Yes, Wednesday we had. Tuesday we had CCJ.
Yeah, usually it's postcard, but we didn't have postcard. We had the CCJ. Yeah. And we'd like to thank all the stations for staying with us during the entire of that broadcast to ensure that the general public was properly informed of what is taking place with the CCJ. And in the interview yesterday, though, one of the most important points that came out for me was the point that Ruggles made when he said that come the 7th of November, there are many persons that, well, the 6th of November, we know 6th of November is the date of the referendum. So don't think I'm making a mistake. We know the 6th of November is the date of the referendum, right? But come the 7th of November, some people seem to have the indication in their mind that if they vote no, that they're going to be causing some sort of problem. What's going to happen is that the new National Party is not going to lose anything, The NNP, as a political party, is not going to be losing anything. Because if there are individuals that go out and vote no and the no vote succeeds against the yes vote, then all that's going to happen on the 7th is that the new National Party will still maintain power, still have the same amount of seats, and not lose anything. It's not going to lose anything.
Govern.
Yeah.
Continuous governance.
The Prime Minister, Dr. Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, is not going to lose anything.
He remain as Prime Minister and leader.
He already has a record of being the political leader to win everything 3 times. Nothing anyone can do can take that away from him. There's nothing anybody could do to take it away from him. That's his legacy already. That's part of his legacy. Yeah? He already also has the legacy of being the longest serving Prime Minister in the history of Grenada. That cannot be taken away from him. He already has that.
If not mistaken, in the Caribbean too.
Possibly. Possibly. Also, I think he's the only Prime Minister ever to lose office and come back and take it. Here in Grenada, we're talking about.
Well,
so Eric would have done it as Premier, not as Prime Minister.
What they call him would have do it in St. Lucia.
No, we're speaking about Grenada. We're not speaking about the region.
The region.
Grenada.
Yes, Grenada. Yeah,
because many others did it. Manning did that.
I thought it was generally.
So, no. Here in Grenada.
Yeah, he has a
lose
record
office and come back and get it.
The following election, and not just
Kenny
2 or 3
Anthony did
elections.
that up the road there, and you had different people do that and so on. Andrew Holness in Jamaica, he was Prime Minister. He lost and then he came back and he won it. I think, no, Portia didn't do that. But we have instances of that. Yeah. But here in Grenada, to have lost office and come back. So there are certain things that he has been the first to do. And no one will be able to take that away from him. So as much as some people hate, as much as some people dislike, I heard one lady make one of the most idiotic statements for the year 2018 today. I was listening to our good friend's program this morning for a few minutes. I was kind of busy, so I couldn't listen to the entire thing. But strange enough, at that point, there was this lady, and she always calls with this high accent as though she's trying to put on that she has so much intelligence because she could speak good. I can't speak good, I would talk bad. Yeah.
She could speak the Queen's English.
Yeah, the Queen's English. Yes. Like if some of us can't speak the Queen's English. I'm a certified English teacher. Anyhow, yeah. No, I just talk bad because I want to talk bad. That is me. Yeah? So, you should see me in England. It's a different case. Yeah. But she made the statement, Devon, and this is the most stupid statement I've heard for the year. The most dotish and the most selfish statement of anybody claiming to love Grenada. That she's going to vote no. Simply because Dr. Keith Mitchell thinks that he's going to get that as part of his legacy. So in trying to deny what she thinks is what Dr. Mitchell is doing, his legacy, and you can't take away all that we've spoken about there. 4 Grenada National Stadia. Not 2, 4. Because I built 2, Hurricane mash it up, built 2 more. 4 national stadia. Yeah? A ministerial complex that centralized all of the ministries that were located on the Carenage, in town, behind the museum, all over the place. That you had different government departments and ministries. GIS used to be on Scott Street.
Yep.
Yeah?
And we know what.
It used to be over on Scott Street.
Yep.
So when you had government information, imagine GIS at the point in time, they had to get information from different, and you know those days there's no cell phone and email and thing. So somebody had to leave to go and drive Port Boy and Jerome and them.
Yeah, and that
had to
walk up
leave.
that step and thing.
Yeah. To leave and go to other places to get information and so government information and those kind of things. That was the government. Those is people like Sylvester Corliss and them. I remember meeting Mr. Sylvester Corliss for the first time in GIS on Scott Street.
Yeah.
So I know this. And Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell and his new National Party administration, one of the first things that they did was to get a ministerial complex where all the ministries are located in one place, with the exception now of the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Finance. And still, the Ministry of Education is still in the complex, just a separate building, but still in the complex. Yeah? So when you're talking about what is his legacy and he looking for a legacy, he ain't looking for no legacy, he has a legacy. Yeah? You look at St. George. And if you take a picture, go ahead. Go ahead. Then you go ahead on it.
No,
you go right ahead.
With that same thing, a person always talk about what has Dr. Mitchell as leader and Prime Minister done leading the NNP for Grenada. I mean, you just mentioned a few, right? Well, let's look at St. George's, as you rightly say. I mean, Dr. Mitchell and the NNP has been able to add on a piece to Grenada. I think that's all I will say about that. add on at least 2 or 3 miles. So Grenada is not 120 or 133 square miles.
So we say acres.
Right.
Acres. Let me miles. Add on acres.
Add on acres to it. Right? And that is exceptional. Look, the bus terminus, right? The cruise ship terminus.
So when people are talking about legacy, he already has that.
Yes.
He already has that legacy. Yeah? And not only did some of them upset when they talk about the fact that he was able to win all the seats. It shows a certain level of political astuteness. But not just that he was able to do it once from opposition, not from government.
Yeah.
They're talking about the last one like if that's the only time.
Yeah.
And so, no, he did it from opposition as well.
Yeah.
And to
That
be able
one
to
hurt,
do that. Yeah.
That one from opposition really hurt.
They had 11 seats and they go from 11 to none. I mean, come on.
That one
in a place that is only 15.
That one boiled all belly.
But no, and the thing is this, and we're not saying this to create any sort of political divide. We're stating what is factual, that he already has a legacy, and that legacy cannot be removed from him. Yeah? For many of the developments that have taken place in Grenada over the years, he has a positive legacy that's already there. So for somebody to say that they think that their voting no is going to remove his legacy is a dunce statement.
That
And
has
it's a
nothing to do with
dunce
it.
concept. Yeah, it's not going to affect him because on the 7th of November he still remains Prime Minister of Grenada.
Yep.
He still remains Prime Minister of Grenada. Remember the last time at the referendum, a lot of them not understanding what they were doing. The next morning after the referendum, they started to call, yes, well, he gone now, and he had to go. And because they had no understanding of what they did. And then what happened? Just a little while after, you started to hear all kind of thing. Because when they got what they got before, they got it again. It's like they would have had the opportunity to have a leader of the opposition.
Exactly.
And they took away their right to do that. I mean, you're happy with the situation being as it is? No problem. We're leaving it just so. If you like it like that, no problem. But at the same token, the child who is there right now and may have need to go to that final appellate court and cannot do so because you decide that you want to spite the NNP or Dr. Mitchell, or you think that you're going to spite Dr. Right Honorable Keith Mitchell or the NNP. And due to that, you're going to vote no because you're looking at this with the political glasses on and not looking at it from the patriotic standpoint, from the realistic standpoint. I had to respond to somebody on social media yesterday saying, why the rush? What do you mean rush? We spent 400 years in slavery, 180 something years since we were freed from slavery. We've spent going on 45 years as an independent nation. And you're telling me rush? Absolute stupidness.
You're like rushing what you talking about, man.
What kind of rush? After 45, going on 40, as of February 7th, will be 45 years
45,
independent. And you're telling me about rush?
And not just
In
that.
fact, we should have done this a long time ago.
And within that 45 year of independence, we have been through so much in terms politically, economically, and so. I mean, and
rush.
I mean, we have set the stage, and we have shown that we are capable of handling our own business, right? I mean, and the CCJs. I mean,
and the thing is, I don't think, and hear me out here, I do not believe that the viewpoint of the NDC as a political organization is to vote no or that they are against the CCJ. I don't get that from the NDC as an organization. So I'm not speaking about the NDC here, you know.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Let me make that absolutely clear. I'm not speaking about the National Democratic Congress here. I'm speaking about individuals who are carrying such hate and venom in their hearts that they cannot see the good for the good. They see good and they calling it bad. Or they see good, they know it's good, but they just decide the good shouldn't happen under certain people. It must only happen. But if they're waiting for it to happen under certain people, they go wait until the end of the days, you know, because certain people will never get the opportunity or may never get the opportunity. So you have to look at things from the perspective, taking off the political blinders. Is the CCJ a good thing for the average Grenadian? Yeah? Can the average Grenadian with a land dispute who has gone through the Magistrates Court, the High Court, the OECS Court of Appeal, believe that they have a good case, because there have been cases that people lose in the magistrate court, lose in the high court, lose in the OECS Court of Appeal. And when they go to their final appellate court, the decision of the lower courts is overturned.
Yep.
Because they have a good case. And the same thing that some of them speak about, they're saying, well, okay, the judges might have their own thing in between themselves and so in the courts and so, but when it comes to the CCJ thing like that, they overturn. And then they still put down judgments on the lower courts.
And what is ironic too, in terms of justice, in this present system, there are persons who may bring same land issues and so, family or persons, you know, involved in land issue. You may take that to our court, the the appeals court, but because of your financial status and so, you cannot afford, and based on what your lawyers are telling you, that it's a winnable case, the evidence is there. If you go to the Privy Council, yes, you may get a better job, but what is handicapping you to get there? The finance, right?
Well, let's look at this from the perspective of the workers of Grenada. Now, a worker may have an industrial issue against a particular company. That worker may have been wronged by company A or company B. So they may have been wronged by a company, and all the negotiations and all these things have fallen through, and they decide that they're going to bring a case against that institution. They go through the magistrates court, the high court, and then they may have lost. But they know that they're right. They may have lost. And they've decided that they want to go to their final court of appeal after the OECS Court of Appeal. They cannot afford to go to the Privy Council.
Nope.
But they definitely can afford to go to the CCJ. And I'll tell you this, that if the case that they are bringing to the CCJ is one that may have a multiplicity of ripples going through the Caribbean and other jurisdictions that have similar laws. In other words, if it's the first of a type kind of case, that due to that case, other islands and other cases that come afterwards would be based on that case.
Yeah, precedent will be set.
Exactly.
Right.
The CCJ could be willing to do that case for free.
Exactly.
Waive the $500 US application fee, and maybe even find lawyers to represent the different individuals.
Because of the impact that that particular case would have on
because
the
they would
Caribbean
want
people.
to see a case like that.
Exactly.
But even worse than all of this, you know, you go in and some people are saying they go in and vote no. And folks, if you want to vote no, I can't tell you.
Oh, yeah, that's your right.
That's your right, and I can't tell you, don't do it. I can't tell you that. You have to go and cast your vote. But if you have to know the reason that you're voting, why you're voting, how you're voting. And if it's simply because you're looking to spite somebody, a spite vote, that ain't making no sense to me.
At all.
And I'm telling you, it ain't making no sense to me. Maybe it makes sense to you. It don't make no sense to me. Yeah? I think that we need to look past the politics and into how this affects our children. Your child that may be working with a company now and is unfairly treated. Your son or your daughter that you have spent literally hundreds of thousands of dollars educating. You who work in the cocoa field and picking up nutmeg, or who see after cattle. You who have worked travel in the road to make sure that you could put a meal on the table and send your children to school and put a shoes on their foot. You have been through all of that. After you've been through that, your child, who is properly educated, is working with a company, is unfairly treated. And you're saying, because you want to spite Dr. Mitchell or the NNP, that you're not going to give that child the best opportunity after spending all our money on them. You're not going to give your child the best opportunity to have a final court of appeal, that they could battle that case when they're unfairly treated, that they can battle that case within the region at a reasonable cost, instead of having to try to get to the Privy Council. They wouldn't get to the Privy Council. The Privy Council would not provide any free case for them unless they kill somebody and they're sentenced to hang.
And you see, and I can't understand with some of our people. We tend not to want to give the future, our children, the tools, right, that they will need to fight right, the battle when we are not around. That is what we have to do. We have to set precedent. We have to do the right things. So to enable our young ones coming up, right, to fight that battle ahead of them much easier as some of the things that our foreparents has done for us. And so like independence and all that sort of thing, we need, to prepare our young ones, right, make it easier for them. The CCJ, right, is one step, right, that we can do that for our young people.
Well,
right?
you know, Devon, another thing here, it's going to be a controversial statement, but I'll say it anyway because, you know, me, I really care. The first people to enslave black people was black people, huh?
Well, slavery definitely
The
used to go ahead in
No, the first
yeah,
people
in
to
Africa.
enslave black people was black people. In other words, some of our own people sometimes work within the system to keep us within the system. So the first people to enslave black people, there were different tribes that had slaves.
Oh yeah, blacks.
And then when the Europeans started taking black people, Africans, out of Africa, other Africans were the ones hunting them down and holding them. And then they were the ones guarding the places that they were holding these Africans before they put them on the ships and send them over. Then when they got over, some of the same people who were captured, who were transported under those brutal conditions, they became the overseers of the others and thought they was better than the others because they spoke in high language and they live in a house that close to Massa House.
House slave.
Yeah. Or they live in Massa
In
House.
Massa House.
In the basement somewhere.
In the basement.
So the first people,
the
well, in the
basement
outhouse.
is good.
So the same people, the same people that came over on the ships ended up trying to be masters of the others. And they did everything possible to keep the others in that situation. We are saying break the chains. Break the chains. We have a caller.
Good morning and welcome.
Hello, good morning.
Good
I'm
morning.
just calling to find out one thing about how you go about doing the renewal of the visa. Like if you want to renew your visa in Barbados.
As it
Okay.
is, as it has all,
I will listen on the air.
okay, as it has been for quite a while now, you apply online.
Yeah, you're playing.
You go to the U.S. Embassy in Barbados website, and you apply there. And if it is the first time, there are different categories. If it is the first time that you're applying for a U.S. visa, you must travel to Barbados and present yourself in person to a consular officer. In other words, you have to jump a plane and go there. Right? If it is the first time, that has not been removed. If it is the first time, or if you were refused before and you're applying again. So if you were refused on an application before and you're applying again to try and get a US visa for the first time, you have never had one, you apply, they turn you down and you're applying again, you still must go to Barbados. Yeah? And present yourself in person to a consular officer. The fees, the consular fees are no longer paid. Back in my days when I went the first time, remember you had to pay when you reach over there, you had to pay at the gate.
Not
and
so
then,
now. You have to pay from now.
Now you have to pay before you leave Grenada. You have to pay online. So you have somebody with a credit card, or they have a cooperative bank card. Let me pick up cooperative bank. Mr. Duncan, morning. Yeah, cooperative bank, or you have a Ariza card. Ariza have them kind of card too.
Yeah, where
that you could load money on it and you could make your payments. Don't tell me about anybody else. I know Ariza and I know cooperative credit union. Cooperative bank, sorry. Right? So those two, they have the cards that you can load the money on and you could pay. So somebody with that and you can pay, and then you go to Barbados, you book your flight, you go to Barbados and so. If you were already the holder of a US visa and your visa expired between September 10th of last year and this year, you can apply online without the need, pay your fees online without the need to appear in person to a consular officer. That is, if you were already the holder of a US visa and you are reapplying for your US visa which has expired within the last year, you can do so strictly online without the need to travel to Barbados and appear before a consular officer in person, because your biometric data, like your fingerprint and those things, they would already be within the system. Now what they do, your photos, everything is, you send it online now, so they don't need to see you in person again. If they have like your fingerprint and those things online already, they don't need to see you, right? If you have like a B1 visa and you're applying for a student visa or something, you need to go to Barbados still. If you are applying for a different category of visa than you had before, you would still need to travel to Barbados.
Yep.
So you will not be exempted. You would still need to travel to Barbados. If you are the holder of a Grenadian passport, but you were born in another country, like certain people, you still need to go to Barbados. So holders of Grenadian passports who were born in another country but are holders of Grenadian passports, so there's a third country involved, you still need to travel to Barbados. So you apply online and you go through the process as was done before. Yeah, so people like, still have to go to Barbados.
We ain't got no choice.
I don't mind. What I gonna do? No, you good.
I know, I
but you ain't going nowhere.
I ain't no choice.
Oh yeah, your thing for a long time. Yeah.
Sure.
So, would still have to go to Barbados. I believe there is an exemption though, for persons who are under, I think it's under 14 and over 80. If they're applying for the first time,
you don't have
persons under 14, I think it is, and over 80 do not need to travel to Barbados. They can just send the information online and they would take it from there. They do not need to appear in person. Persons under 14 I think is the age, under 14 and over 80.
Because my daughter is 14 going on 15 and she has to go.
Yeah. People who have citizenship of Grenada via citizenship by investment, under no circumstances are exempted. They all have to go to Barbados. There's no exemption for them. You gained citizenship through citizenship by investment, you have to go to Barbados. So there's no exemption for such persons. All right, nice. So they can go there and they would have to go there. Also, let me deal with something here. I was listening to an interview earlier this week with Miss Claudette Joseph, and as a person who was trying to get into Parliament, a lawyer, I would have thought that she would have read the law in relation to people who are registered, not registered, but people who are holders of Grenadian passports through citizenship by investment. According to the law, and I always remember this part of the law, I can't give you the specific section off the top of my head, but I can find it. According to the law, people who gain Grenadian citizenship through citizenship by investment cannot vote in a Grenadian election. That's the law. They cannot be registered, they cannot cast a ballot, they cannot vote. Yeah, so they would have gained Grenadian citizenship through citizenship by investment, but they cannot vote, they cannot cast a ballot in a Grenadian election. Because here, I'm not talking about people who gain the thing by citizenship by investment to go vote. No, according to the law, they cannot. Yeah, because those persons basically they're not even here most of the time anyway.
Most of the time they're out more than in.
So they don't qualify. They cannot vote in a Grenadian election. Just to let you know that. I have to get the schedule of meetings for tomorrow. No, we are leaving the CCJ thing. We're going back on that.
Yeah,
but just to let you all know, senior citizen payments. Yeah, the payments to those payments, right? What is called public assistance. Right, so that started yesterday and it will be going up until next week, Wednesday. So the payments will be made every third Wednesday of each month. So it started, it's at yesterday, today, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, and then that is it for public assistance. If you don't go and collect it, it's going back and you will not get it again. It's gone once you don't go and collect it. So those who have to receive the public assistance, right, you have to go yesterday, today, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday is the final day for it. All right, Papa? I'll go and get a little nice little something, eh?
Yep.
Even if you have to turn off the radio and go down, go and collect your local kakada. All right? Nice. Beautiful.
Sheldon, comment on the referendum. When it comes to the November 6th date, what are some of the changes, right, that may have to be taken by the electoral office to accommodate the referendum. I don't know if you
Changes,
can,
not really changes.
if there are any, and what are they?
What has happened is this: the writ was issued earlier this week.
Yeah.
It means that those who are not yet registered as electors, and notice I'm taking my time with this, those who are not yet registered as electors but are qualified to be registered as electors have up until next Friday to register. Yeah? And let me be clear here. If you voted in the last election, you are still qualified to vote. So you don't have to go and register again.
No.
If you voted on March 13th, or you were registered to vote and you didn't go and vote, even if you were registered to vote and you did not go and cast a ballot, you're already registered. If you did not register or were unable to vote in the March 13th election because one, you turned 18 right after, or you just decided, I ain't registering, I ain't bothering with that, then you can still register up till next week Friday, after which point in time registration will be closed until the end of the referendum process. Yeah? So the process of registering new electors will end for a period of time next week Friday. So if you're not registered yet, you're 18 and you need to get your voter identification card, you have up until next week Friday to get yourselves registered. Yeah? Okay. Also, copies of the bill which was sent to Parliament will be posted throughout the island. So you're going to be seeing copies of the bill posted at like post offices, shops, and different things throughout the island, so that everyone can have the ability to read the bill, see it, and so. Plus, you'll also be seeing the notice from the Governor General's office stating that such and such a day is when the referendum will be taking place in the state of Grenada. So you're going to see that posted throughout the island. Same way as when we have elections, you're going to see that posted throughout the island. Yeah? So the process continues in the same way as when you're having a general election, and so that you have that taking place. Okay. Nice?
Because there are a lot of persons, who still have issues. Although we did that before the last election, there are a lot of people who still have little issues on how to do it, and so it's so necessary to continue, letting people know exactly what needs to be done and how and everything like that, so that the process, remains so simple and so for our people. And so because come November 6th, right, I mean, we are urging all Grenadians to go out, to come out, right, and be part of the referendum.
Okay, Hayes is asking a very important question here in relation to the public assistance.
Yep.
He's asking if a person, a senior citizen, is hospitalized and cannot go. In that instance, that individual would have to send a letter. Somebody could write the letter for them and they just sign it along with their ID, and someone can collect on their behalf. Because you have some people that can't leave home, they can't move and that sort of thing. So we need to, in that case, you would need to have a letter signed by the individual allowing person A or person B to go and collect the public assistance on their behalf.
And in case they may have query in terms of why is that person, you can even get a letter or something from the hospital, all right, or a doctor stating that, look, within that time, this patient will, could not have, thing. But there are ways that, can move around it, and very important, because yes, I know some people may have lost that ability to get because of that same same reason, and not knowing what they can do.
There are some elder folks as well that are infirm. They can't leave home.
Yeah, at all.
And usually what happens is that you have different officers would go around and check on them, and they would give a letter to either that person or a trusted person, trusted person. They would sign a letter for that person to collect on their behalf, along with the identification, collect on their behalf. You can't just bring the letter. You have to bring a form of identification from the person that you're collecting for to collect on their behalf. Other than that, everybody just walking with a letter and say, so and so send me.
Yeah.
All right, Rasta's vacation I'm coming, so link me with the plane ticket so I can come and register and stay till November. Me ticket? Boy, what do this, man? Boy, I can't even buy a lotto ticket for you, watch us a plane ticket.
I was just about to ask if it's a lotto ticket the man wants to buy. You know?
A raffle ticket, you want a bingo ticket? Oh, goodness.
But the man we talking about a bingo ticket from Wagiti in a month, man. Wagiti a big bingo, so that my
Bingo?
the ticket here.
Waggity.
Yeah, Wagiti bingo. Mega bingo.
Folks, just to let you know what else is coming up this weekend, we have St. Andrew Northeast. They'll have that meeting at the Bel Air Government School. St. Mark, they'll be at the St. Mark Secondary School, and St. Patrick West, they'll be at the Chantimel Government School. So those of you in St. Andrew Northeast, that's the Honorable Kate Lewis. She'll be having that meeting with her team at the Bel Air Government School, so you can head on out there. You'll be hearing about various things, not just, some people keep saying CCJ meetings. The meetings are not about the CCJ. They're about what has been taking place in the constituency, and the CCJ would be discussed as well. You'll get information on the CCJ, but the meetings are about the constituency. It's the constituency representative, and they may ask colleague ministers to come and speak. They may ask the minister in charge of agriculture to come and speak on agriculture, the economy to come and speak on the economy, and so on.
Social development.
Exactly.
Housing, you know that.
So you'll have different ministers coming in and speaking to you on different things. So St. Andrew Northeast, your opportunity, 6 o'clock tomorrow, that's at the Bel Air Government School. 6 p.m. tomorrow at the St. Mark Secondary School. Those of you out there in St. Mark, the Honorable Clarice Modest, the Lioness, yeah man, the Doc. St. Patrick West, the Honorable Pamela Moses, she'll be out there at the Chantimel Government School. So you'll have different teams going along with the ministers to speak on what has been happening thus far for the year and what is to come. Yeah?
Yep.
I know they you have a batch of Imanis, they're preparing a batch of Imanis again, I hear.
Yeah. It's about what I said.
So I hear.
Yeah, well, hey, the young people, we have to get our young people involved, get them involved in the process.
But you know, as soon as you say that, what's going to happen? You're going to have those people that like to spread rumors going out there and telling people that they're getting sent home. Yeah. That's what they'll come and start to say again. Just now you go, wait for it, you'll get.
I thought it was said, even before the election and after the election, that thousands of young people will be sent home.
They're still saying it.
Well, I mean, it's...
They ain't stopped yet. They're still saying it.
Wow.
Yeah. 440737, that's 440737, and
347-329-3101.
Yeah. So folks, head on out to those meetings there. So remember again, the one for Carriacou we had been mentioning before, that has been postponed. But St. Andrew Northeast at the Bel Air Government School, St. Mark at the St. Mark Secondary School, and St. Patrick West at the Chantimel Government School, those are on. So head on out to the meetings. Nice?
Yep.
Then next week we have the launch of Carnival in Carriacou on the 28th.
On the 28th, that's next Friday.
The 28th we have the launch of Carriacou Carnival. I think the Hashers will be in Carriacou at the same time.
Okay.
Yes, so the launch of Carnival in Carriacou, that's going to be take kayak mass. That's what they call it now, kayak mass.
Okay. Are we heading up there?
Boy, we might have to ask somebody to send us a ticket.
Yeah, it looks so. That is what we have to do.
There's Willy Wonka. I had to ask for the golden ticket. So senior citizens, head on out and get your payments and so.
Yeah, very important.
We still up to now, I still haven't been able to hear one person with a convincing argument as to why I should not vote for the CCJ to become my final court of appeal.
I'm not up to this point.
Let's say a group of young fellas walking down the road. And I'm talking about situations that happened before. Group of young fellas liming, they hanging out. A fight break out between that group of young fellas and somebody else or some other group. Somebody is killed or somebody is damaged. And every one of those young fellas who was in the group, because somebody see 5 of them pass down. So every one of them is charged. Right? But you have one that really didn't take part in anything. But he get charged too. It passed through the different courts and thing up to the High Court, convicted, so on. They go to the OECS Court of Appeal. Say no, so and so saw you going down the road with the guys and them too, and it's a group of people that stabbed the guy or so on. So, but this person is innocent.
Guilty by association.
Yeah, this person is innocent.
Yeah.
So you're telling me now that that person had to stop at the OECS Court of Appeal, even though they're innocent and they're sitting in Richmond Hill Prison, they had to stop there, because I would like to know who poor people children can afford to go to the Privy Council there.
To seek justice.
Because they might not be on a murder charge, you know, and they may not have been sentenced to hang, but they may have been given 15 or 20 years in prison because some people find them guilty by association in the lower courts. When it goes to the CCJ now, if it could have gone to the Privy Council, would that be nice? I ain't saying no, but they can't afford to go to the Privy Council. They could afford to go to the CCJ. So it goes to the CCJ, and when it goes to the CCJ now, there's the opportunity for that person to argue their case for the final time. And you may have that all that was done in the lower courts is overturned and that person is freed because it was innocent.
And you know what is very interesting
but somebody saying don't get an opportunity. Leave them with the Privy Council what they can't access so that they go spend 15, 20 years in jail. You know people that say that? People who ain't poor people. Because the people and them who could afford to go to the Privy Council, you don't see them with their hoity-toity voice calling on certain radio stations. Those are the ones that saying keep the Privy Council because they and their family could afford to go to the Privy Council. But poor people, children can't go there.
And given, I don't see the opportunity to seek final justice. I mean, a case like, for example, as you just mentioned, that young person, right? Because the opportunity he has in the CCJ, because it's a Caribbean court, right? And it's easily accessible, right? And so you can stay right here from Grenada and even write to the CCJ and say, look, I have this case here, but I cannot afford. I need assistance. And they may put something in place, review it, and realize and say, look, this person, this young person, has a genuine case. Let us do something for him. Good morning and welcome.
Morning, gentlemen.
Hey, morning, sir.
Good morning to you, sir.
Gentlemen, my difficulty here is with us a certain phrase that has been popularized. It's used in a political context, but I'm concerned about its use, particularly in the issue of the CCJ. And you would hear, I support the CCJ in principle. In principle. But and that is what bothers me. In principle, you support it in principle. You agree with it in principle. You accept it in principle. I'm not hearing.
Yeah.
Why we're listening to you? That's why.
Why they don't vote for it in principle?
You know, I mean, if indeed these people are honest and genuinely support the CCJ in principle, what is the difficulty in manifesting that acceptance, that support in principle? I'm baffled. You know, a person will make that statement, and it comes across as a shield. It's projected as a shield, and from behind that shield, they fire shots. Do this, but do that. Do this, and do that. And I really, and I say, and these are people who really and truly, they have the intellectual capacity, etc., to help, assist in guiding our sisters and brothers who are not as capable, but who, in my opinion, this is just my opinion I'm voicing, will seek to erect as much obstructions in the process of realizing or having the principle being enacted. That delays and prevents, which to me is the real objective, to prevent the principle from being realized. The CCJ has satisfied all the questions raised by these people. They have done it. It was part of the conditions for the heads of government to have it established in the first place. Honorable Prime Minister Miyamoto emphasized that process. In my opinion, nobody at this stage, at this time, can on principle justify any campaign to obstruct or prevent any one of our Caribbean territories doing the right thing and moving forward and ratifying the decision that was taken 14 years ago to have our highest court of appeal right here in the Caribbean. It's already here. It's us. In principle, by principle, these individuals ought to be assisting our wider community rather than seeking to confuse the wider community of persons. There is no logical reason for continuing to confuse our people. We must check that out in principle.
Indeed. All right.
Comrades, in principle, I'll let somebody else voice their opinion. I just wish to encourage our Grenadian brothers and sisters. The CCJ is a reality. It is in the best interest of all our countries, Caribbean territories, and it's the best thing we can do for our forefathers and all the persons who have experienced the wrath of the colonial powers that enslaved us over the years. They're looking at us and they are so anxious and to know that in 2018 we finally realize that indeed the CCJ is important and necessary for the upliftment, the upliftment of all of us here in Grenada.
Okay, Doc.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
All right, Doc. Yeah.
Yes,
and that word they keep using in principle. In principle. My God, stop being hypocrites.
You know what that reminds me of? You go to a doctor. A doctor says to you that you're suffering from a bacterial infection. They say you're suffering from a bacterial infection and you should take medication A or medication B, or maybe even medication A and medication B. And then you say, Doc, I understand that I'm suffering from a bacterial infection, but in principle, I think I should just wait it out. Maybe it might leave my system.
Yeah.
Maybe my body might work and get rid of it myself.
That's a hell of a
Maybe
risk.
maybe if I just eat some certain fruits and vegetables, you can go and I don't need to take the medication. So in principle, I understand that I have a bacterial infection and I need to take certain medication.
And you agree, and that
But you
have
just
that.
so you know it's good for you. You know it will take care of the problem that you have, but you refuse to take it. Simply because the doctor went to a presentation Brothers College and you went to GBSS.
Or you study in Cuba and he study in America.
So you ain't taking
You
it.
ain't taking it. That's in principle.
It's like the argument that some people have been using, and let's trash that immediately. This argument that some people have been using, and you can't blame some people because sometimes even us as individuals, we don't think things through totally. But there's this argument that the court and the CCJ thing is only a thing about lawyers and it's only lawyers to make money from that and that sort of thing. Okay. So, excuse me, if we say, let's do a new hospital, and you see all the doctors and the nurses, the hard-working nurses and hard-working doctors down at the general hospital, if they come out and they start to argue a case now to say, we need a new hospital with more medication and state-of-the-art equipment, that we can have somebody who is a doctor in New Zealand stay and look at your case here in Grenada. Actually, we had the telemedicine thing here, so I kind of telling all in technical that we had that too. That you could stay in another country, look at different things and be able to help give a diagnosis with other information, help give a diagnosis or guidance and so in relation to a particular case. So you're going to stand up and say, well, that is only for doctors and nurses? Is that what you're going and say? Because they're saying, okay, let's use something new and let's include technology and so on so that you don't have to take the person and put them in a plane and send them New Zealand. The person could stay here in Grenada and that they can receive consultation together with the local doctors in relation to the issue. Are we going to say that that is an issue only for doctors and nurses? It's the same thing that they're saying about the Caribbean Court of Justice. The Caribbean Court of Justice, they have judges, they have lawyers, but the judges and lawyers have absolutely nothing to do if you, Joe Blow and Jane Blow, don't end up in court.
Exactly.
If we don't have matters to bring to the court system, there's no need for the court system, you know.
How they will make money?
So at the end of the day, it's still us. It's for us. They are a necessary part and a necessary component of the entire thing. But it's for us. I try to understand. Maybe my reasoning is flawed.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
That's to the point.
Hard talk.
Hard talk.
Sheldon.
Yes, my love.
Okay. Good morning, you and Devon.
Good morning, my dear.
Nice hearing you all. Listen, I really want to compliment Doc. He's really a good citizen. We have an individual who's considers himself citizen. But I really want to thank Doc for the contribution he does make to enlighten us as Grenadian, you know? And this is so good. And I have a little critique to the meetings that the parliamentary referendum is having. Mr. Steele had one recently in the Limes. Yes, Mr. Bowen came and Mr. Foreign Affairs, help me his name.
Peter David.
Peter. And there was not enough time, Sheldon, for people to talk. I appreciate their coming, but there's too much information crowding into that couple hours. Because Mr. Bowen came and it was late, it came late, and I was trying to wait out. If you don't have the transport, you would be left in the street waiting for a transport. So what I want to suggest, yes, I want them to educate us and the CCJ. It is important. Yes, they could come and say whatever, but don't crowd the information. It's too much. It's too much piling in into the couple hours, which is not enough. I asked a question, Mr. Steele tell me he will talk to me on that. When will he talk to me on that? No. We are here to talk with community stuff, and if it is not enough time, we will leave a void. It is useless. So I want them to, yes, let's look at the committee, but I want them to zero in on the CCC, or no, CCJ very much, because a lot of people are ignorant and what the whole matter is. You understand what I'm saying, Sheldon?
Yeah.
Hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Because I was there, and Mr. David talked on where we went from there. He went into health and all of that. Nobody was. I had to leave. I didn't wanted to ask questions. There was no time, and the kind of cutting you off, which is not good. If we come to a meeting, please, we want to discuss to a point where we all will be there on the same page. But don't come and tell me you will see me on that. To talk, where you will see me? Come on, don't give me that. And I'm not happy with that.
Okay.
So this is my thing. But one thing I want to ask, like, if you now get your card, are you automatically registered to vote November? Because I now get my ID.
Yes, so you're registered.
Hello?
Yes, so you are registered to vote.
So then automatically I'm registered.
Well, you've been through the process. That's how you got the card.
Thank
so
you.
You're registered to
All
vote.
right. So I do hope they take the suggestion. We want the discussion. I'm reiterating the point. We want the discussion, and that yes, they could come to the meeting, but please let's spend some more time in educating we people. We don't want this to fail, and whether or not the Pretty Council, the people do have their thing. I don't want to go into the biasness, but we live in a world where there is still a lot of prejudice, Sheldon, if you don't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of prejudice. We don't want to go into that, but there is. We can't run away from it.
Okay,
and
my
we
dear.
should be happy and conscious enough as Caribbean people to go and do what we have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for your time.
Okay.
Okay.
No,
All right.
what,
Thank
what
you.
I would say is definitely this. The meetings are not CCJ meetings. The meetings are constituency meetings for constituency reps to report to their constituents on what has been done, what is being done, and what is to come.
Yeah.
And they're taking the opportunity at the same time to speak to you on a very topical issue, the CCJ. So you will get reports on health, and I think that there will be people in the audience who would want to hear what is taking place in healthcare. Because sooner or later, we all have to use the system. What you think if something wrong with me right now, I'm going to be able to jump a plane and go anywhere? Me and that money, I don't even have a passport. So I can't jump a plane to go anywhere. I have to use the system right here. And no matter who you are, when something happens, the first point of contact is your healthcare system right here in Grenada.
Right here in Grenada.
From the Prime Minister down, the first place you're going to go is to the General Hospital. So you think ministers don't use the General Hospital too? Yeah, you have to go there. But even so, people would want to discuss healthcare. People would want to find out about the economy. People will also want to find out about the CCJ. Now, the CCJ Advisory Committee itself is doing meetings in different areas. And I'll say this. If you go and you ask certain categories of people, and I know I will get some fire for this one, but all you know me already, my back broad. You ask certain categories of people right now, which website to find certain types of pornography on. They could tell you in split seconds. Ask them which website to find information on the CCJ. Look at the internet history of some people. Ask them for access to the computer and look at the internet history. And look at the type of sites they've been going to and the kind of things they've been reading on. So it's not that they don't have access to the information. I refuse to accept any argument that people don't have access to the information. From Sunday to today, CCJ has been discussed on nearly every radio station that has talk programs in Grenada.
Every day.
I myself had Ruggles on yesterday. City Song, CRFM, all of the stations broadcast that yesterday, and they broadcast Tuesday's event. And on Sunday, you had a team that was on with George Grant and so on, and on other programs. And on Monday, you had a discussion on TV during the night time and so on again, and you had discussions during the day on other stations. And on Tuesday, you had that again. So for people to say that they're not informed, they don't want to be informed. That's my belief. I believe some people just don't want to be informed. Or they want to operate like how some of the birds in the nest operate, and you had to come and you had to put it right in the mouth and drop it direct into the mouth.
So
information is there.
Some of them want to swallow it for them too, you know.
And we agree. Yeah. We understand. Not everybody has access to the internet. Not everybody is internet capable. I do expect Miss Jacob to get a WhatsApp from Miss Jacob. I know she's not into that technology thing. I do expect Miss Clytie to be emailing me and asking for certain information, although I might be wrong on that. I ain't taking chance with Miss Clytie. She's that kind of woman. Next thing.
Next thing she WhatsApp you right there. Why stop that, eh?
Oh, Miss Bernice or her, one of them. Now I just get WhatsApp from mom, boy. Miss Maureen Aquil. I just get WhatsApp from mom. So I know she WhatsApp working. Or Miss Bernadette George, Mommy George just get WhatsApp and thing from them. But I know that not everybody is technologically inclined to be able to go and get the information that is available there. That is why they've been doing the forums around the island. They just did one this week in St. Andrew. How many people went? Yeah. It was there. How many people went? We just mentioned some meetings here. And yes, they will discuss the Caribbean Court of Justice at it. And I hope that they do it in such a way that you have enough time to ask questions. And so I know the forums I attended, there was enough time for people to ask questions. I don't know what took place at that one. And I'm not saying that the caller is wrong in any way. Not saying the caller is wrong, but I'm saying that I know those that I attended, we had enough time to be able to respond to some of the questions. So like St. Andrew Northeast, Bel Air Government School, St. Mark Secondary School, and St. Patrick West, Shantimel Government School, each of them tomorrow for 6 p.m. So for somebody who lives in that area, has the time, has the opportunity to go and hear, and doesn't do it, and then come and say they ain't hearing anything about the CCJ, that has nothing to do with anybody but them, the individual themselves. Because here's the opportunity to go and hear and participate and ask questions. Because sometimes you may not have the question, but when you listen to what is being said, you say, boy, you know that song? Yeah, that song reasonable, that song good. Better, let me have a question here. Just to firm it up in my mind, I have a question here. Let me ask that. Yeah? So you can't blame anybody in some instances. You can't blame anybody but yourself for not having the information. And I'm not saying that's the case with the caller. I'm saying that's the case with a lot of people you hear out there because they just don't want the information. And then you have the group of people who, when they're hearing information but they hear it on Hard Talk, because they're so politically blinded, lie. But anytime you start talking, lie. But anytime I pull out, watch, a point in time, I pull out maybe about $300-400 and I offer a young lady to tell me where I lie on Hard Talk, and she couldn't pay. She couldn't tell me.
They can't see.
I pull it out cash and I show her, I say, you're getting this now. Tell me where I lie on Hard Talk, and she couldn't answer. But they're so programmed politically that anytime you say anything, lying.
Good morning and welcome.
Hi, morning.
Good morning, my dear.
I'm trying to find out, do you have a schedule as to when the CCJ teams will be going around and having, well, let me just refer to it as village meetings?
Well, what they have been having is some bigger meetings than just the village meetings. So like, for instance, they had that meeting at TAMCC for the students. They had the launch at the Trade Center. They had the one at the Luxe Cinema. They've been having some meetings with some of the government ministries and so on. And other meetings will be coming up in different areas. So as I get the schedule, I'll put it out. Because they will, all during next week, there are meetings that are scheduled. But I want to confirm the schedule that I have before I put it out.
All right.
So I'll make sure that you know. So when it's specifically the CCJ Advisory Committee coming, that you know that it's them, they're coming there. And you could be able to go out and hear for yourself and ask your questions.
Oh, okay.
Okay, my dear.
All right.
Everything else okay?
Yes, I have something else I want to read, but not today.
Okay. All right, my dear.
Okay, then. Good, right, bye.
Sheldon, you know, I want to make that point, and I've been hearing persons saying it, even learned persons too, attorneys. I think we need to see more members of the Bar Association or even lawyers, attorneys, right, taking a more active. I'm not saying that they are not doing it, but they must be more visible, right, and people must hear them more, right, on the different radio stations, and so make themselves, even while they're going to court, have that discussion, enlighten persons about the CCG. Not try to convince them to vote either way, but help educate them as to what going to the CCJ would mean for them as an individual. You know, already, because lawyers tend to get the ear of most of our citizens when they, you know, when they explain certain things, right? So I would really like to see much more of them getting out there, right, and educating people more about the whole question of the CCG and its importance, right, for us as a people.
Yes, indeed. And folks, the phone number 4407377
and 347-329-3101.
Yeah, we have an opportunity here. And some people feel they're hurting somebody. Some people feel they're damaging somebody or some kind of thing. But on the 7th of November, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell remains as Prime Minister.
Yep.
And you're not damaging his legacy. That's already there. So you're not damaging his legacy. All you're doing is the poor people, children who may find themselves in a situation innocently and need to be able to go to their final court of appeal, their final opportunity to get out of having to stay in jail for 15 years or 10 years or even 5 years or even 2 weeks for something that they did not do. And it was not recognized in the lower courts, but because you have a different, let me put it like this. The judges who we have at the CCJ are people, some of them have as much as 30 years and 20-something years. So they've seen it all, they've heard it all, and so on. So they would have a different degree of understanding when it comes to certain cases than judges in the lower courts.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning to you, my friend.
And good morning to your listening audience. You know, I was listening to a program this morning, and let me make a statement, and I will repeat a statement that was made. I listened to a statement that was made. Now, listen to this. I support the CCJ. I know it's a good thing. I know it's a good thing for the Eastern Caribbean. I believe the justices that are there are more than qualified. But as long as it's Dr. Mitchell and his government that is bringing this forward, I'm voting no. Now, Mr. Scott, slavery, racism, lynching, separate water fountain, sitting in the back of the bus, the middle passage. You know, not being able, black people, not being able to go to certain Ivy League school. There are those that die fighting for equal rights and justice. Today, those who benefit from the blood and the sacrifice, they don't care a damn about it. Just imagine that, you know. No, let me refer to what Mr. Ruggles Ferguson said here. He said that since in 1901, the argument was made by the Gleaner, the newspaper in Jamaica, that the time was now for us to have our own courts replacing the Privy Council. That was in 1901. Today, we are in 2018, and there are black people in Grenada here with more degrees than what you could get in the equator. And because of their own selfish and self-centered reason, they would not lead the Grenadian people down the correct path. Hear the slogan. We support the CCJ in principle, but then they give you 10 buts more than enough to tell you to vote against it. But let me wrap up by saying, whilst I support the CCJ and I will vote yes, all those who see the failure of this referendum as a victory, I say more power to them. As long as I win the referendum every 5 years for the next 20 years, I'm okay with that. Gentlemen, have a pleasant weekend.
Have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend.
Yes, indeed. 4407377. Look at the line. 44073. We have roughly about 13 minutes remaining on today's program. 13 minutes remaining on today's program.
Yeah, the final 13 minutes for the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been an interesting week, man. A lot of heavy information. A bit of sadness on my part. My good partner, they found him dead in Springs.
Yeah, I was hearing about
Andy, went to school with Andy, you know, at TAM CC back in, don't tell people how old I is, boy. But anyway, me and him went to school back at Grenada National College, TAM CC. Live next door in Springs too. Next door to each other.
Okay, what was the cause of death? Any information?
I don't know, I'm not a doctor.
Okay, right. That's the perfect answer.
Yeah, I don't know. Not a physician.
Answer. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, no, I don't know what you're asking me.
No, but
for me.
I
Interference Springs people, you see.
I tell you.
Even when some Springs people are inebriated, you realize that we speak in high English with a lot of sense.
High English, and you speak with one voice, you know.
Good talk, you know. It top with us, you know. We bad down there.
Oh.
And knowing Andy, he would have been killing himself laughing over all of this if he wasn't dead already.
Hey, good Martin.
Condolences to the family and so on. The Sharp family, Checkley family, all of you down there in Springs. So again, you know it goes.
Checkley, you mentioned Checkley. A number of years ago, I lost one of my good friend, you know, Leslie. Yeah.
Leslie Checkley.
Yeah.
Leslie was the one he had a thing behind his head. Leslie died.
He died, yeah.
When Leslie died?
A lot of years now.
We'll talk about that one after the program.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I knew Leslie, man.
Leslie, yeah, young.
Yeah, we have a caller.
Good morning and welcome.
Morning.
Yes.
Morning.
I just want to air something I saw with the police, yeah? I saw them with some van there, some green van. I think that this van is not suitable for the kind of environment we have here in Grenada. You know this green van which they use?
The military type vans?
Yeah, so they have a green van they use going around. It's like, it looks like Hummer in a way, but I think it's not suitable for the Caribbean or I think.
Well, why would you say that?
Because number one, the way the people are sitting in this, ventilation is very poor, I think. In terms of speed is another factor, I think.
Speed?
They look like they cannot travel with speed, you know. I see them all over Grenada.
My brother, they're all-terrain vehicles. They're not made for speed. They're made for being able to go through all sorts of terrain. A vehicle that's built for speed has a specific shape, specific type of engine, specific type of alignment. If you look at those vehicles, they're not built for speed. They are built to be able to go through rough terrain.
Yeah, but when you look at them, I don't think it's suitable for the police here in Grenada. Maybe military could use some of them.
The police in Grenada are a quasi-military organization. We do not have an army. What we do have is a special services unit, rapid response unit, and those are the ones that are utilizing those vehicles mostly.
Yeah. Where they got this from? They got this from some donors or something?
The Chinese government would have given those vehicles along with several others, including some trucks, prisoner transports, and other vehicles and bits and also parts to repair those would have been given to the government of Grenada by the Chinese government. I believe it was earlier this year or late last year? Late last year, yeah.
But I don't find this suitable for this place.
But what qualifies them as not suitable? I'm still not getting you. What qualifies them as not suitable?
I told you the way they function, the space, the loops.
But what is supposed to be the use? Hold on. Because a lot of us become experts on things all of a sudden. What is the use of the vehicle supposed to be?
They don't look like this. I just call and give my views. That's what I think. They don't.
Yeah, but
for the environment here.
I'm accepting your views, but I'm also putting forward mine, because if I'm supposed to accept yours, there must be a reasoning behind it. And to understand the reasoning, I first of all must understand what the vehicles are supposed to be doing. So if I have to say they're unsuitable, I have to first of all find out what are they supposed to be doing. So that's what I'm getting at.
They could have been used for military purpose, I think, but police using I don't see them as because it should be in the urban city and this thing. You know, maybe in forests and bushes. I don't see them as. That's my view. Yeah? That's
okay,
what I wanted to say.
Okay, my brother.
Okay, my friend.
All right. I'll say this.
His views.
Well, yeah, we respect your views, but I do not agree with them, because I think the vehicles, number one, they are all-terrain vehicles. All-terrain mean urban terrain and also rural terrain. That's why they're called all-terrain, because they are for all types of terrain. I live in the south of the island. I see them passing from time to time, and I know they're going down to SSU camp and coming from SSU camp. And I don't think I see the normal police using it much. Maybe they give them a ride with it now and again.
They don't use
but it's mainly the special support service unit and the rapid response unit I see using it. And those are the type of vehicles that they ought to have, in my view. Maybe I have no military training. Maybe I'm wrong. I have no military training at all, so I might be wrong. But I would think that they are suitable. When it comes to ventilation and so, I have not traveled inside it to make that sort of conclusion. I haven't traveled inside it. But I would say again, thank you to the Chinese for presenting us with those vehicles, because I didn't really think anybody could honestly call and say that the police having a problem when it comes to transportation right now.
For the last number of months, probably over the last year.
I would be very interested in hearing somebody saying that the police having a problem. They call and the police say they have no transportation. I'd be very interested in hearing that one.
Because what is interesting, when I move around, looking at different police stations during the day and sometimes at night, most times you see 2 or 3 vehicles parked in the yard.
I'd be very interested in hearing otherwise.
Good morning and welcome.
Morning, how are you?
All right, my friend.
Morning.
I'm just trying to ascertain certain things. We are in Grenada, and the situation arises about the court because of, for the benefit of people that cannot afford and so on in Grenada here, and then I'm asking myself, if there are other countries in the Caribbean who wants to do the same thing, and they are getting the same antagonistic problem, arguing in no and yes and all kind of thing, there's a problem in the means of condemning what the true situation should be. I don't know.
It does happen when one takes the thing out of the realm of necessity and brings it into the realm of political partisan politics.
Yeah,
I could use the example of Jamaica. I went to Jamaica in 2013. When I was interviewed by the Jamaica Gleaner, I believe it was, they asked me the question about the CCJ. The answer I gave was that, in my view, the issue of the CCJ must be taken to the people of Jamaica. And that was in 2013, huh? Yeah, the interview is still there you could find it in the Jamaica Gleaner from since then. That the issue of the CCJ must be taken to the people. At that point in time, the present Jamaican government was in opposition, and that was also their view. Yeah? In Jamaica, they don't need to have a referendum to go to the CCJ. They could just pass it in Parliament. The Portia Simpson Miller administration was willing to do that, but they were saying, the opposition was saying, the then opposition, now government, was saying, take it to the people. Don't just do it in Parliament, and next thing, that's not what the Jamaican people want. Take it to the people. So even though they could just pass it in Parliament, they decided to take it to the Jamaican people. So there's a discussion going on in Jamaica in relation to it right now.
Okay.
There's a discussion that started in Trinidad in relation to it. In Antigua, they're having a referendum on the same day that we're having that referendum. And other countries are now, because St. Vincent went that direction already, other countries now are looking to see what happens in Antigua and Grenada to know if to try to go forward with it or if to leave that alone.
Well, to me, it appears to me that it is solely political. To me, I don't know. I don't understand. To me, that's my point of view. Anyhow, I cannot stay long on that call.
Okay, brother.
All right, boy.
But you see, that's the thing. When you make it political,
yeah, you muddy the water.
Yeah, and that's what some people are trying to do. Some people have attempted. As I said, I have not heard the National Democratic Congress say don't vote for it or anything like that. I can't say that they've come out and say anything like that.
As a matter of fact, listening to former Senator Noel in Grenville, you know, he was, I mean, it's one of the times.
He was speaking on behalf of the Congress, and he said they're supportive.
Because he said he can't separate the two, being General Secretary and an individual. So, but when he spoke, he definitely, you could see it, I mean, feel it in his words, and you listening and everything like that. National Democratic Congress is, in my view, supportive of the CCJ and everything. I mean, they may have, they have concerns and everything like that, but hey, that is the impression that when you hear him together with Randall Robinson and others speak, that you know, that's the way to go. I mean, you know, and so the whole question of party politics getting involved in the whole question of our constitution and to a lesser extent the CCJ, we have to stop that. We have to be clear as to the direction we want to go and to separate. That's why you have separation of powers, you know.
That's exactly why there's that. So I said the discussion is taking place and has been taking place for a while in Jamaica. It has. I could post the article for you when I'm ready. Post the article from the Jamaican Gleaner in relation to that. Because in 2013, that's how much, 5 years ago, I did that interview there. Right? And it has been a topical discussion throughout the Caribbean. But again, some islands are looking now to see how Grenada and Antigua move forward with it.
Exactly.
Before they attempt to go into it as well.
Because as you said, some of the country, they just need a simple majority through their parliament to run it through, and so. But you know, we are very unique.
Before we leave though, there's one I must raise, and I'm saying this to all of our Grenadian brothers and sisters who have spent many decades in the United Kingdom. I ain't talking about those of you in the US. I ain't talking to those of you in Canada. I'm speaking about those of you who have spent decades, some 30, 40 years, some even more, in the United Kingdom. And within that community, there seem to be some people who are afraid that moving from the Privy Council to the CCJ will make them lose some sort of benefit or lose. You have nothing to lose.
Nothing.
There's this belief that after that, it's going to be the removal of Her Majesty as the head of state of Grenada, and that people who have worked out there for all these years are going to lose some benefits. Let me tell you something, brothers and sisters. As it is right now, Sergioni could wake up this morning in Italy, take a plane ticket from Milan, and head over to London, go to an office, register as a European citizen, start working tonight in the UK, and receive all the benefits of a UK citizen. Their family, who is back in Italy, will receive whatever benefits as though they are living in the UK right now. A person can leave Spain tonight and appear in the morning and go and register, get all the documentation together and so in one day and start working by tomorrow night. A person from Germany can do it. Yeah, any European state, they can go to England and they can start work the same day, register. And some of them, you go to certain restaurants in England and the people not speaking English, and you all know I'm not lying. Because I spent significant amounts of time in both London, right around London, and Birmingham. And there are some people working in some of those places can't even speak English language in England. and their families get the same benefits as a UK citizen. And I'm saying this to say this, but we Grenadians, who are still part of the Commonwealth of Nations, whose head of state is Elizabeth Regina, when we go up there, we have to duck and hide to go and get our work. We have to duck and hide, or we are given a specific amount of time to spend in the UK. Yes, we're lucky. Jamaicans still have to get a visa. We don't have to get a visa from Grenada. We're still lucky with that. But we are given a certain amount of time, even though the head of state of Grenada is the Queen of England. And you all know that I'm talking the truth, because you have relatives that ducking and hiding over there right now. And when something happened to one of the relatives here, they can't leave because then they can't re-enter the UK. You going through the lines in Heathrow, and you see they have the little area that they part off, and put in St. Lucian and St. Vincent and Grenadian and Dominican inside there and send them back on the next flight back to the Caribbean. But yet still the Italians, who never had the royal family of the UK as their head of state, nor the Spanish, nor the Germans, they are afforded the opportunity through the European Union. That's why I say Brexit is a good thing. They are afforded all the opportunities as though they are British citizens and subjects, while those of us who call ourselves British citizens and subjects, we relatives ducking and hiding over there. And then to make matters worse, they come with the Windrush scandal.
The Windrush scandal.
And then say they lose some people documentation. So after 30 years,
oh, that's a slap in the face.
You leave and you come home for a little visit, and then you can't re-enter England. So what you're telling me you're going and lose that? That is what you're going to lose? Because you will not lose your pensions, and I know that's what some people are worried about. That they may lose their benefits and their pensions, and so you won't lose that. If you move from the Privy Council to this, you won't lose any of that.
That has nothing to do with that.
You won't lose any of that. That has absolutely, exactly, it has nothing to do with that. Because there is this concern among that demographic of people that if there's this move, the next thing to go is the Queen. Even if the Queen goes. Because the Privy Council has stated clearly that they really don't want us. But we try is like a boyfriend, and he want to finish with the girl, but the girl ain't listening. She just going behind him, boy. She just going behind him. She ain't listening. She want to know, hey, I done. She just behind him. That's how we are with the Privy Council. Yeah. When they're ready, they accept us. When they're ready, come out my house. Come out my place. Take your thing and go. And you're just refusing to go. Shaming yourself.
Like I always say, some of us acting like, well, like the persons, the men and women who want to live in their mother house for more than 40 years and don't want to find their own. Don't want to pick up the responsibility to start a family, to build a house, you understand, and start on their own. Some of us are afraid of doing that. You understand? That is what I see in terms of the CCJ. The CCJ is I mean, that will benefit us in so many ways. But you know what? We tend to stick up in our mother's house and don't get out.
Folks, that's all the time we have for Hard Talk today. It's been wonderful being here with you for this week. It's been a very informative week. And we'd like to thank all of you that called during this week, all of you that listened during the week, all of you that contributed in whichever way to the Hard Talk program. Indeed, next week is going to be another packed week again.
Very much
another very packed week again. We're going to be providing you with a lot of information, not just CCJ, but several other things. We're going to be providing you with a lot of information. Remember the constituency meetings that will be taking place tomorrow for 6 p.m. That's going to be at the Bel Air Government School, St. Mark Secondary School, and Shantimel Government School. So St. Andrew Northeast, Kate Skeeter Lewis, St. Mark, Honorable Clarice Molles, and St. Patrick West, Honorable Pamela Moses. Yeah, so
Patrick
those
East,
meetings. St. Patrick East, sorry. No, it's St. Patrick West, actually, yeah?
So it's Boson.
Yes, Shantimel is St. Patrick West. That's correct, yeah. So it's Honorable Anthony Boson, not Honorable Pamela Moses, yeah. So that will be taking place, all of those meetings, 6 p.m. tomorrow, and try and head on out to them.
Yes.
All right, and folks, the information is there online. For those of you that are online, you can go to the CCJ website. There are various Facebook pages and so on. The information is available. Make sure and listen. If you don't understand, find yourself at one of the forums, or whether
and
you have to
ask
send an
questions.
email or a WhatsApp or a message, ask questions.
Or you meet an attorney on the road and you figure you could have a conversation with him. Ask him something that you're not clear about. All right?
All right, folks. So we are out of here. All right. Yeah, we have something else taking place tomorrow, but we ain't taking part in that. That's all the time we have for today. Whatever you say, whatever you do it safe and secure. I want to be speaking to and with you.
And not about you.
Indeed.
Sweet band music.
Grenada is about to embark on another historic mission of amending its constitution for the first time since its independence. From all indication, the push is for the changes to be made before the end of the year, 2 years after the first attempt failed.
We believe the CCJ is an important issue to take a second look at, and we're involving the same people, the community group, the legal professions, and other parties involved, and hopefully we'll have everyone playing a very united role in going forward, because if we do not work together, then clearly it's not necessarily going to pass, and I think it would be a tragedy of justice for this country and for the Caribbean. But I think it's about time that we stop having faith in everybody else but ourselves. All people, jurists have served regional and international institutions around with distinction, and it would be to me almost an insult to say to ourselves that we cannot be responsible for justice in our country.
2 years ago, 8 bills were tabled for constitution change. But this time around, the focus is on one which, if successful, will see the Caribbean Court of Justice replacing the London Privy Council as the final court of appeal. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell, who was re-elected to office by a landslide victory on March 13, 2018, says he intends to play an active role this time around.
And the CCJ so far has demonstrated that it has stood out in terms of its decision-making process. And no one can say that the governments who are now the countries that are now part of the CCJ are getting decisions based on the govern those in political office. So in that sense, the people should be very happy that it's very independent judicial process, and I certainly, as a Grenadian and a Caribbean man, I certainly would want to support it. I would play a much more active role this time than I did the last time.
The bill seeking the constitutional change is already out. It's called the Constitution of Grenada Caribbean Court of Justice and Other Justice-Related Matters Amendment Bill 2018, one of the 8 attempted 2 years ago. It includes almost everything in the 2016 bill, but removed are the sections that speak about the code of conduct for public officials and the swearing allegiance to the country. Debate has continued over the years about doing away with the Privy Council and replacing it with the Caribbean Court of Justice system, the CCJ. The Privy Council in London and the CCJ based in Trinidad are both a final court of appeal that retries civil and criminal cases if the original ruling is thought not to be satisfactory. But proponents argue that the CCJ, formed and operated by the Caribbean people, would allow for a sense of independence and would make access to a fair trial much easier.
The arguments in favor of independence, the CCJ being an independent court, and in fact, the CCJ being one of the most independent courts in terms of structure and appointment of judges, not just in the region, but it is used as a model for other courts, particularly in relation to financing and in relation to the selection of judges. And that ultimately is the test.
There have been some recurring points of concerns about the idea of the CCJ as Grenada's final court of appeal, access, cost, and the likelihood of political interference.
What the CCJ has done and what has been approved with respect to the CCJ is the setting up of this independent trust fund that is managed by a board of trustees. And what is important about that board of trustees and the composition of that board of trustees is that you have no politicians at all on that board.
Former Minister of Legal Affairs Elvin Nimrod tabled the bill in Parliament in 2016. Newly appointed Minister of Legal Affairs Honorable Kindra Mathurin Stewart says the implementation of the CCJ to Grenada will enhance the judiciary system of the trial and state.
For Grenada to have access to the CCJ as its final appellate court, that would mean for us here in Grenada that our people would have greater access to justice. As you know, with the Privy Council, persons had to travel far to England to access the Privy Council. But of course, the CCJ is right next door, and I believe, of course, with its location and its ease of access, that locals, ordinary people like me and you, would be able to have access to justice.
The Legal Affairs Minister says she believes there are competent experts here that are capable to execute the process.
I believe that we in the Caribbean are capable of creating and making our own jurisprudence. We don't have to depend on English judges and English folks to make jurisprudence for us. And I believe that we are well capable. We've had notable jurists and persons coming out or emanating from the Caribbean, CARICOM. And I believe that we possess that talent, we possess that experiences, and I believe that we are well poised to create our own jurisprudence. That in its sense alone too would basically signal, of course, a greater independence for us as an independent nation of Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique.
In October of 2016, the Grenada Constitution reform was held, where citizens took to the polls to cast their ballots for or against the implementation of the CCJ as the final appellate court. Constitution reform process then was denied based on the outcome of the votes. Although CARICOM created the CCJ as a replacement for the Privy Council, it did not fully replicate the British system. Instead, it chose to copy certain practices while creating other divergent ones. Residents here say while they are willing to accept the change, there must be proper consultation on the subject.
Public education, and my first observation is that there are too many lessons, or if not lessons, too many chapters, or if not chapters, too many books to be learned within that space of time. The bills, the issues for the referendum, they are significant enough and far-reaching to have what I refer to as a limited time.
That of the CCJ, which country like Trinidad, Barbados, country which implemented that CCJ and they are ineffective already, they still go to the Privy Council for hearing in the jurisdiction. So we go into the CCJ now. We are neglecting the Privy Council and go to the CCJ. And them countries which are still implementing the CCJ, the Privy Council for a hearing. So how that go be looked when we neglect the Privy Council and go to the CCJ, and them countries which implemented the CCJ are still under the Privy Council.
During the swearing-in ceremony, after winning all 15 seats at the 2018 general election, Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell reassured the nation that consultation and education on the process will soon resume.
As each of us seeks to protect and save our children, we must look out also for our neighbors' children and to the broader issue of justice. And as it is also related to our independence and to our national identity, we must open up a dialogue again about joining the Caribbean Court of Justice.
On Thursday, September 27th, Grenada's Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Keith Mitchell, and Foreign Affairs Minister, Honorable Peter David, are coming to Brooklyn for a special town hall meeting. All Grenadians and friends of Grenada in the diaspora are invited. Join the discussion on the state of affairs in Grenada. It's from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the auditorium of the Medgar Evers College on 1650 Bedford Avenue. Come, let your voice be heard. Thursday, September 27th, Grenada's Prime Minister and Foreign Affairs Minister in a town hall meeting at Medgar Evers College from 5 p.m.